Live? Hello, we're live. Yes, we're live. We're live, and it's Sam and Raj and Michael are here. And so, what on earth is going on? I have spent the better part of the morning working on local support, although I had been planning to spend time on the graders. But there was just this exciting pull request in from Zmago, and I ended up. I mean, after working with Raj and Alexander for a bit, I ended up getting into getting to the bottom. Excuse me. I think I got approximately to the bottom of the three failing errors there, which are to do with timing and to do with VCR, and it's all quite complex. And but I thought it was important to do that because I think I see the light at the end of the tunnel, having the full sandbox for local support, and I'm just I really want to make that available for Jana and Zivko and others. I think that's ultimately going to make all of our lives easier. So that was local support. I did also then spend some time on the graders. I've got the new homework ready and sort of grading for the MOOC to be released on Friday, and I've started reviewing the waffle board, and I noticed that I missed a load of comments from the developer in California, and I've been following up with him. And actually, if you're interested in the way we're using the waffle board for managing the autograders projects, do check out the autograders channel. Been posting some things in there. I think just the different pros and cons of using something like Waffle versus Pivotal Tracker versus Atlassian versus Trello for project management are really quite interesting. And so, yeah, I think I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. There's definitely a bit of stuff to do on autograders. Also, I've been chatting. Yeah, website 1. The chat is ongoing, and maybe we'll talk to Michael about that. Yeah, that's that kind of update for me. Oh, one outstanding thing is we do have a load of stories on local support that it would be good to vote on if we had enough of us and we had time. Anyway, well, let's see. I forgot to mention that this morning. Let's go on to Raj. How are things going with you, Raj?
My this afternoon, since we had last stand-up, we completed more or less the work on feature flag, chore of local support, and I've done a pull request, and then nothing is under review. We're waiting for some comments from others if they think anything needs to be changed or any opinion they have. That's all I've done, and
yeah, good stuff. Yeah, excellent.
excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we've got a comment there from John Moorbacker in the States. He's given you the thumbs up. So potentially we can just review and pull this in at the end of the stand-up. So yeah, so you're not blocked at all then at the moment. As you're just waiting for that to be pulled in. That's good. And that's all green. Let's go to.
That's all from me. Yeah.
Good show. Let's go to Michael, who I think was in slightly before Jana. How are things with you, Michael?
Good. Just I'm set up on Pivotal Tracker. I'll look at having a look at the local time stuff.
And that's for the website 1 project.
Correct.
Yeah. Cool. Yes, I think. I mean, you originally mentioned that as a, it's just part of the trouble with Adventures website 1. I mean, the main website is that all the times are in UTC. Interestingly, as they are all on edX. I mean, we're committing the same sin, I would say, as edX. What's interesting is edX has far more resources than us, and you would have thought that they could sort it out. But if we can get it sorted out before them, I will say we win. We win. Yes, so I think that's great. Just let us know if there's anything that you need. Cool. Okay, and yeah, so you're just investigating that, and you're not blocked particularly.
No, I just have to get the environment set up, and then I can start.
Right.
I'm just curious what the ramifications are going to be of wrapping that time in a tag, if it's going to have any CSS type ramifications.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see that. Before that, you may find the getting set up, because it's a relatively large and convoluted project. I know that the tribulations of getting set up with that have sometimes put people off. So do reach out for help if you get stuck on that, and we'll get you all sorted out.
Okay, great.
Good show. Jana, how are things going with you?
Hey, all good. We paired with Zivko this morning a little bit, and we made a feature flag for our. By the way, I work on local support on Do It feature, and yeah, we made a feature flag for this Do It volunteer opportunities feature.
Fantastic.
And then I continued to work, wrote several. Well, 3 tests. I'm not sure how good they are, so maybe after the stand-up it would be good if we could discuss if they're okay and what else needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that coverall, again, it shows the coverage of 92%. It shows it dropped, but it shows files that I haven't touched. So I don't quite understand what's going on there, because coverage obviously grew, not fell. So.
Okay, yeah, definitely we'll have a look at that. I mean, we saw that last week. There's something slightly strange going on there that I'm sure we can get to the bottom of. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so I think that brings us to the end of the stand-up, perhaps. I mean, Michael's, I guess, going to go off and look at his thing independently. Raj and Yana both have things related to local support that they're interested in looking at. So I mean, I guess probably a mob programming session on local support is in order. Would that make sense once the stand-up's over for Yana and Raj and myself? And Mike, of course, Yana and Raj, you may want to, we could have people going off and pairing with Michael. I guess I get the sense Michael's, all right by himself for the moment, and we actually, haven't got so many other people set up on website one at the moment, but hopefully that will change. So if everybody's all right with that, that brings us to we've got a bit of time left. There's two things we could do. We can have another people open for feedback round. It's a stand up with feedback. I think that's been quite successful. We've probably had so much feedback in the last 48 hours. Maybe we don't need any more. I think, like Yana, I'm always open for feedback. Any feedback from me, from anyone?
Oh, good. All same. Good.
Excellent. And anybody else wanting to receive feedback?
Well, I'm always open, but yeah.
Well, I think fantastic that you came and paired with Zivko. As I mentioned, I think that the interesting challenge going forward for you, Yana, will be getting some pair rotation in there. It's always there's sort of this conflict of once you get comfortable and settled pairing with one person, there's a tendency to sort of stay with that person, which is good, and it's good, and you can get a lot of stuff done. It's an interesting trade-off for projects about you may go slower on a particular feature by trying to pair with a new person. At the same time, it's potentially very valuable in the long term for the longevity of the project. But so something to think about. Any other feedback from anyone else for Yana? If not, Michael and Raj, you up for some feedback or? You unmuted there, Raj. Is that you being open for feedback, or you're just playing with the microphone?
I think when I said it was muted. So yeah, I'm open to feedback. I'm happy to receive any.
Yeah, well,
anybody?
I would just say very positive. I'm so pleased that you got the pull request in there. Excellent. I think that's exactly the way that we want to go. I think all positive now, and I don't know. It'll be great to get you pairing with some other people as well. I think that's about the size of it. Okay, there we go. It's always slightly artificial. Am I driving feedback in this direction or that direction? I think we're all doing pretty well at the moment, let's say. Okay, so the only other thing, so we've got kind of 5 minutes of the stand-up there. What we could do, and this, I don't know if I've done this with you guys before, we might just have a little, partly because we need to do it for local support, but also as just an exercise, something we've often done in stand-ups in the past, is voting on stories in the tracker. And so maybe we'll just, since we've got 5 minutes, we might just do that unless anybody has any strong objections. So what I'll do is I'll just share my screen, and that's oh, actually I just said that's the waffle for the autograder project, by the way. And then what I want though, let's go down here. We've got the pivotal tracker for the local support project, and so we generated a series of stories for local support last week, and it's in order for people in principle to start working on them, not that anyone here would necessarily start working on them, but just sort of a triaging thing is to just review these and do this little sort of voting 1, 2, 3 process. Now, Raj or Yana, have you gone through this kind of story pointing poker before?
No,
not me.
No, Michael, are you familiar with that?
The concept. Never done it.
Oh, okay. Well, let's have a go there. So, not that these stories are necessarily ideal, but let's see. So, one of the things that's an issue in the Harrow Community Network, which is the site that runs using the local support software, is that when we search for it, there was this thing for a long time. We weren't the top hit, and we didn't have these subpages. We finally got those, although I'm not even necessarily sure how we did it. But we've got one feedback from the client that says, some of these are not really relevant. Like these two links here, these are like 3 different organizations within the community network, and then we've got the About Us page. We have got in local support, we've got this. I can't find it now. We've got like a sitemap XML thing somewhere, if I can find it. Which, yeah, here we go. Which is supposed to be saying, look, these are our kind of key things. These are the things that we want to have as our little sub-page links within the Google search results. But I don't know, Google just seems to ignore this. I don't know if it's set up correctly or what. We put that in there a long time ago. Google seemed to completely ignore it, and then of their own accord, they've created these things. So there's kind of a search engine optimization task here. The client would, I guess we've got one. Oh, is it the subpages? This one is just. Oh, okay, sorry, and I've gone there describing the wrong feature, haven't I? Yes. So one thing is the subpages. Oh, that's which we have voted on already. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I'm sorry, we did vote on that already. The related feature is, so we are top when you do Harrow Community Network, but the client would love to see us top for Harrow volunteering, which we're not at the moment. So yeah, I guess that's adjusting the tags and so on. So this is not even really a programming story, although it might involve some changes to the HTML and so on. But the way this works is that we're in this position to sort of point up the story, and ideally in a team, what we're going to do is over time we're all going to get better at learning how to point stories and estimating what's going on. And one of the nice features of Pivotal Tracker is that as we estimate the points and then complete those stories, is it starts to provide a prediction about when we will get certain things done by. So you may or may not know this feature of Pivotal Tracker, but you can kind of see here. See these dates, these dark grey bars? And this is based on here. We've got like a velocity of 3, implying that we can, based on the history of the project, I may have, and other things, some strange chicken sacrificing that's going on in the background, it's saying it predicts that we can get 3 points of stories worth, done a week. So you see here, it's got, I think, what have we got here? It's got this, the 3-pointer that we're on there. It's saying that's the current week. And then we've got 2 points in there, and then there's like 2 points and 2 points. And it's basically, there's 6 points of story here. There's this one, and this one, and this one. So it's split those over 2 weeks. And then we have another, like more points there. And it's basically splitting those. Does that make sense to you guys? Have you seen that kind of thing before?
No, I haven't seen it before.
No. Does the idea of what it's trying to do make sense?
I think so, yeah.
It's trying to help us predict, for the client and also for ourselves, how long it will take us in order to get, a certain amount of work done. And so pointing the stories is, has that function of helping us trying to predict. It's also about us trying to, communicate effectively as a team. And also, it's this big thing of like, if you're taking on a story, it's like, oh, well, I'm not feeling very confident, I'll do a 1, or, I've got lots of time and I want a big challenge, I'll have a 3. So the way we would do this sort of little poker thing, and we can do this actually, if everybody's in Slack, I mean, we sometimes use a little chat in Hangouts, but it kind of sucks. But I'm going to do this, let's do this in the, let's go in the, I think it's better when we do it using the Slack channel. But so we're going to do, so we're going to do point poker on this story. And so what we're going to do is you want to get ready and think about how complex you think this story is. And so you type a 1 or a 2 or a 3 into the local support, but you don't hit return. So basically, is everybody clear on what this feature is that we're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then, based upon whether you think this is simple, intermediate, or complex, that's 1, 2, or 3. If you type that, that number into the local support Slack channel, and then I'm going to count 3, 2, 1 and say go, and then we'll all press return together. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but the thing is, I've never done it before, so I don't know how to assess this.
Well, that's part of what we're exposing by doing this. So it may be that you're just not sure, and you can abstain from the vote, or yeah. The thing is not to worry about. If you don't know, you can kind of guess, and it's through that process of doing that we kind of, expose our ideas about what it is and what it isn't. You know what I mean?
Kind of fantasizing about how difficult it could be. Okay.
Yeah, just imagine, and then we can have a little chat about it, and then we move on and do a different one. Yeah. Okay. So let's just sort of try it. So 3, 2, 1, go. Aha. There we go. And so somebody's actually set it to 2 points. Who did that?
Oh.
Was that you, Raj? So the idea.
Yeah.
Okay, you were voting too, but yes, we don't vote.
Too.
We don't vote through the.
I got that.
We vote through the Slack interface. But there we go. So we've got a majority saying 2, and Michael's saying 3. And what we usually do is we then say if there's a majority on one thing and there's somebody saying another thing, we pick on that person. We say, so Michael, what makes you think it's a 3 rather than a 2?
The main reason I would say it's a 3 is because it's not necessarily something that's you're relying upon Google.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to actually interface with Google, and it's not even going to be something that you're going to see. Like, you may change something, and then, but I don't think you're even going to see the results of changing it until they recrawl your site.
Right.
So I don't. That's why I think it would be a somewhat difficult task. Try to specifically get Google to show something that you want them to show.
Yes, and I think I would agree with you. I mean, this is one of these tasks that's got a time delay feedback loop. So exactly as you say, you might make a change and then not know exactly what the consequence is. I think I'm still tempted to give it maybe a 2 rather than a 3, because I think the kinds of changes that one would be making would not necessarily be that complex. Do you know what I mean? Because I mean, search engine optimization is sort of a thing, and you try things out and so on, and it's sort of like it would be a sort of, you might spend half an hour on it, try something out, push it out, and then come back to it the following week. And so I don't know, it's then sort of up to us as a team, for that kind of task, how are we really defining what complexity is? So does that make any sense?
Yeah, well, one thing I want to say here is, like, there are 2 aspects of it. How complicated the change will be, how much efforts will be involved, and how much importance it is for the change. So how do we judge the complexity, or how do we value that? Based on which one?
Yeah, so you're saying 2 things. One is like how difficult it is to make the change, and then how difficult it is to assess whether the change has been successful or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think that there's a combination of those. Clearly, both of those contribute to the complexity. Any thoughts on the discussion, Jana?
Well, it's kind of more or less clear intuitively if I understand what we are talking about, how to assess it. But yeah, it's a bit difficult to assess something I don't know, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, just gut feeling, okay.
Yeah, no, and that's fine. It's fine to be. I mean, I think, I would be happy to switch to a 3 because there's certainly a lot of uncertainty related to this, and in some ways it's better to be conservative in terms of how long it will take rather than, aggressive. And, always we can then go and do it, and we discover, oh, it actually wasn't that hard. And then that, the important thing is not to be kind of right or anything. The important thing is to have a guess, not spend too long on it, and then to have that process, do that process repeatedly, and have that help us get better at estimating in general is the more important thing, if that makes.
Yeah. Also, maybe thoughts on it is that if we point at 3, it might be not taken for a long time, because when you just join the local support of any project, you tend to take easier ones.
It's true.
So
yes.
No one will start it for a long time, and if it's not that difficult, that maybe it's not fair that it will kind of.
That's true. That's a very valid point, actually. You know, because it's the kind of thing that someone who was not feeling so confident with Ruby and Rails, but who was like, oh, I know HTML and so on. Oh, that would be a story for me to knock off. So I think I've been Yana, you've convinced me to go back to it too. Michael, what do you think of Yana's point there?
Yeah, that's fine. It's kind of as you said, that it's not necessarily that it's 3. It's the changes may not actually be that difficult.
Right.
The problem is, and kind of what Pivotal Tracker doesn't seem to be able to capture, is the actual. There's not really a way to capture. Say, hey, this might take 2 weeks, but it's only actually going to take maybe an hour per week of actual work.
Sure.
If that makes sense. I mean, it'd almost be like the only way to really get it in there like that would be almost make it like a chore rather than a feature.
Yes, indeed. I mean, and maybe it would be better suited as a chore. It's interesting because this is something that the client asked for specifically, which is sort of makes me want to make it a feature. I mean, I think what I'm tempted to do, and just to because I think we've spent enough time on this. I'm tempted to take an executive decision and say let's go for the 2, and add in a note that says this might take a long time to assess if it will work, but shouldn't be so hard to implement. Yeah, could be a good starter. What is it called? Starter for Brain. Go on, Brain. Good starter ticket for someone interested in SEO. Yeah. And then, I think we've, it's great to have that discussion. Yeah, and I think, yeah, let's leave it there and let's move on to our mob. Yeah, but what we've managed to do there, I think, is you can see how in this environment we can go through this process of voting on stories, and we might do the same thing for some of these other ones on other occasions. In the ideal world, the idea is that for the Monday kickoff, we kind of get all those done, but it was only Raj and myself. And then the key thing in some ways is to involve a few people in the discussion in order to kick the idea around, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, that was fun for me. Thanks for getting involved in that, particularly Michael, since you're not so involved in this project. I really appreciate you taking the time for that. Are there any other questions or thoughts?
Not on this one, no.
No, or indeed about anything. I think probably rather than going on and voting on the other things, maybe we'll do that on another occasion. I'm thinking I might just grab a cup of tea, and Yana or Raj, maybe you'll set up the mob session so we can look at some local support things.
Okay, I'll set one up right now. Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Okay, fantastic. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks, Michael. And yeah, just don't be afraid to call out on Slack, which you seem very confident with in general, if you need any help at all.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Thanks.
Right. Thanks, guys. I'll see you in a minute. Bye for now.